Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Police arrest 8 suspected Boko Haram members allegedly involved in the kidnapping of 276 Chibok schoolgirls from their hostel in Borno State. Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki, governors of Benue and Sokoto states meet PDP leaders behind closed doors in Ilorin as controversy rages over their next line of action. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo asked traditional institutions to play key roles in ensuring peace and security across the country. And 12 boys rescued from a flooded cave in Northern Thailand last week speak publicly of their ordeal for the first time. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via a browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and then follow the instructions. The national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Uche Secondus, and other leaders of the party today met with the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, and governors of Kwara, Benue and Sokoto states at Dr. Saraki's country home in Ilorin, the Kwara state capital. The meeting was held behind closed doors after they had attended a prayer session organized for the late mother of PDP's former National Secretary, Kawu Baraje. The former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, Senator Lawal Shuaibu, Senator Barnabas Jemade and other prominent political figures also attended the meeting. The meeting is coming on the wake of reports that the Kwara State governor and his counterparts from Sokoto and Benue State were plotting to pull out of the ruling All Progressives Congress. But the River State Governor Nyesom Wike insists that the visit to Ilorin is strictly to commiserate with Mr. Baraje and his family.
Of course, you should not have Baraje as a politician, and so you expect politicians to come and rally around him at this moment that he lost his lovely mother. So for us, we came here only for that purpose. Of course, even if you stay for politics, of course, when you see your colleagues, you need to chat, you need to, compare notes on what you are doing. But we came purposely for the 8 days prayer.
And the call for restructuring resonates again at the extraordinary meeting of the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum in Abuja, just 2 days after the group held a rally on the same subject in Benue State. The forum, which comprises members of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, the Ohaneze Ndibo, and the Afenifere Sociocultural Organization, insists that the current system of government encourages ethnicity, bitterness and rancor.
It is an extraordinary summit of leaders and elders of Nigeria from across the Federation. Issues of restructuring, herdsmen and farmers' clashes, including the increasing level of insecurity, dominate discussions. The leader of the Yoruba Sociocultural Organization, Afenifere, sets the tone for the event as he laments the unending killing of innocent Nigerians.
The purpose of organizing our country is to ensure there's prosperity all over. How can you tell us that the killing is done by cattle rearers? Burning houses, raping, killing people? Do you rear cattle with sell AK-47? We want good governance. We want to live in peace.
Delivering a keynote address at the occasion, a former chief of staff to the Senate President highlights the essence of the summit.
This summit represents a bridge across all Nigerian communities. It speaks of a vast foundation of commonness of our challenges as a people, as well as the futility of damaging quarrels over matters we can best solve together.
One after the other, leaders of the summit take turns to speak on the nation's security challenges and the need for good governance.
We are not against anybody. All we are saying that good leadership in this country will bring back some of the things the earlier speakers have spoken about.
blood is flowing, and we are pretending that all is well. All is not well.
The one-day summit, which attracted leaders from the Northern Elders Forum, Ohenaze Ndibo, Afenifere, Pan-Niger Delta Forum, Middle Belt Forum, including leaders of the Christian Association of Nigeria and Jama'at Nasrul Islam, conclude with the position that restructuring the country's governance will help address most of the challenges facing the nation.
To legal matters, the National Industrial Court sitting in Lagos has fixed October the 31st and November the 1st to hear the case of hundreds of bank workers affected by the recapitalization exercise of 2006. The court had failed to sit on July the 9th when the matter last came up, but parties who were present in court had agreed to come back before the court today. At the resumed proceedings this morning, some of the bank workers who were now suing in their individual capacities showed up in court. The defendants in the suit are the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. While the CBN was represented by counsel in court this morning, the NDIC was not. The court was, however, informed that the NDIC has filed a defense to the former banker's claims, while the CBN is yet to put in its defense. The counsel who represented the CBN in court says this will be done soon.
Our plan is to insist on getting justice. Why? Because there was a poorly and irresponsibly managed process by the Central Bank of Nigeria in the so-called banking consolidation that took place in 2006 under Professor Soludo. And we think we should not be victims of that kind of poorly managed process. So that's what's going on, and we are trusting God that we'll get justice.
Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Ibrahim Adra. Hey, Ibrahim.
Hello, Ejama. Good to see you. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, may have given itself some pass mark on the conduct of the just concluded governorship election in Ekiti State. The commission, however, notes with deep concern the rising phenomenon of vote buying during elections, promising to check the practice ahead of the forthcoming election in Osun State. The commission made this revelation after its regular meeting with resident electoral commissioners from all the states and the Federal Capital Territory. Concerning the ongoing nationwide continuous voter registration CVR exercise, INEC announced that starting from Wednesday, August the 1st, the CVR exercise will take place between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. instead of the earlier scheduled time of 9 to 3 p.m. There will also be registration on Saturdays and Sundays, as well as public holidays, if any, within the period. Lastly, the exercise will be suspended at 5 p.m. on Sundays as well as public holidays, if any. Now, the governor-elect of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, has received the certificate of return. The ceremony, which took place at the Secretariat of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Ado, the Ekiti State capital, was witnessed by supporters and party leaders. INEC National Commissioner Adedeji Shoebi, who presented the certificate to the governor-elect and his deputy, says the umpire has done its part as far as the Ekiti governorship election is concerned. Dr. Fayemi commended the electoral umpire and security operatives for a job well done, stating that for him, governance has just started.
Election is not just about the day in which the election is held. It's a process, and that process we must commend INEC for undertaking and delivering in a professional and credible manner. This is just the beginning of the work. For INEC, the work has ended. For us, the work is just starting. And we believe that we have a duty, indeed a responsibility, not to disappoint our people in keeping faith with us. And by God's grace, we shall not disappoint them. The people will see the benefits of good governance from October 16, 2008.
Now, the British government has pledged to continue to support Nigeria's electoral process to achieve free and fair elections. This assurance is coming from the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Paul Arkwright, who was a guest on our breakfast program, Sunrise Daily. On the just concluded Ekiti governorship election, the High Commissioner called on INEC and other relevant stakeholders to learn from mistakes made while ensuring that such are not repeated in future elections.
Focusing in particular on women, on youth, and on people with disabilities. So those three categories of people who don't always get the right education, the right information. So how do we get that information across? Helping with some of the technical assistance to INEC, so improving the voter system, the electronic voting system. Working with civil society organizations. So for example, the Quick Count at Ekiti, which was run by Yiaga, the not too young to run people, was funded by DFID, by the British government, and by the US government as well. So the Situation Room, that's funded by the British government. So empowering civil society organizations that are actually part of the electoral process is another really important element of it. So there are different areas where we have intervened, and we will continue to support the process through 2019 and indeed, of course, beyond that. There are some lessons to be learned from Ekiti. I think there are some clear examples of where vote buying or voter inducement went on. That has to be stamped out. I think it will take some time, but there are a number of things that can be done. Certainly, there should be no impunity for people who are responsible for that. Certainly, the laws should be enforced rigorously. Certainly, campaign finance needs to be looked at. Some of the things around party agents who I saw, not many, but a few, just too close to the ballot boxes. You know, we pointed this kind of thing out.
Now, in other matters, the Senate has resolved to investigate the ongoing oil and gas lease renewal being undertaken by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Pt.2, and the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR. The lawmakers took the decision following a motion sponsored by Senator Motayo Alashaw-Adura during proceedings at the Red Chamber of the National Assembly in Abuja. Senator Alashaw-Adura accused the minister and the DPR of perpetuating irregularities capable of denying the government revenue in excess of $10 billion as a result of alleged illegal discounts and rebates in the process of lease renewal. Our correspondent Terry Ukumi reports.
The Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, in its 2017 service requirements release, said oil companies seeking to renew their oil licenses or leases would be expected to pay a statutory application fee of about $2 million. However, beyond the figures, senators are worried about the negative financial implication of the alleged irregularities surrounding the renewal of oil and gas leases being undertaken by the Minister of State for Petroleum and the Department for Petroleum Resources.
Concerned that the action of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources is capable of shortchanging the country and denying the Federation the appropriate revenue accruable from the renewal of the said leases.
Some senators want the parties involved to be invited for explanation.
Summon the Minister of State, put him in the dock, and I believe other key officials of the petroleum sector, the GMD and others.
I would just want the prayer to expand those to be called.
Mandate the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources upstream to investigate all issues related to the ongoing lease renewal being undertaken by the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and the Department of Petroleum Resources, and to report to the Senate the anomalies in the ongoing lease renewal process and identify appropriate measures to correct the said anomalies.
Mr. President, the Committee on the Downstream Petroleum Sector also presented its report with strong observations.
We realized that some marketers were either paid higher than they requested or very closely to what they requested. And I feel it is worth mentioning before this Senate. And these marketers we found were 19. So a total of 22,278,402,224,000 was realized to be added over and above what the marketers really asked for.
The committee is to further engage major players in the petroleum sector and relevant government agencies to get to the root of the subsidy issue. Terry Ukumi, Channels Television News.
Time for an update break, but when the news at 10 returns, federal government unveils name and logo of Nigeria's national carrier at the Farnborough International Air Show in London. Do join us again.